Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Locker Room Talk Uncut. Drew Garrison, Chad Penrod in the locker room, bringing you all the latest in sports. Today we're going to talk about the wild one between Cleveland and Baltimore last night, Andy Dalton's triumphant return to Cincinnati. We're going to get into an NBA preview. We've got a week until the NBA starts. We're going to talk about Ohio State finding a way into the Big Ten Championship game this Saturday, and plenty more. So first off, I want to start out congratulating Dustin Ewalt. Won our pick'em last week, took home $370. It was funny. The tiebreaker came into it, and he was the closest to the tiebreaker points, but he was 45 away. It was so good. So shout out to him. Week 15 is now open. Cash app $10 to Drew Garrison. Get your picks in. The links are on our Facebook, our Twitter, or Instagram, and everywhere else. So it's easy to find. So let's actually jump right into that game last night, dude. It was wild.
That was it sucks being on the losing end of that. But that was a fun game, man. That, in my opinion, that's the best game all year. I think that's probably the best game I've watched since the Chiefs and the Rams.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that game.
It's crazy though, because I thought Baltimore could put up a lot of points. You know, obviously our defense isn't great, but I was surprised that the Browns were able to put up so many points. Yeah,
I mean, against that defense, that was kind of the story that I was looking for going in was, you know, how can the Browns score on that defense? How will Baker Mayfield play on that defense? And I'll start off with that question that I asked you last week. I said, how are you going to feel the day after if the Browns lose and Baker puts up a stinker? But looking at the game last night, he threw a pretty bad pick, but I don't really put that game on Baker. So it is 12:59 on Tuesday. How are you feeling about the game last night and Baker overall? Just, you got the floor. Tell us what you're thinking.
Well, the loss definitely isn't on Baker. I mean, I think we can both agree with that. Baker balled out.
They might win if he doesn't throw that pick.
I don't think so. Just because, let's see, they return it to the 1, then they go up 14. Lamar had cramps out of nowhere, which was...
Dude, Lamar didn't have cramps. I saw how he ran. He had to take a shit.
That's what they're saying on
Lamar had to take a shit.
That's what they're saying on social media.
It was just a long shit, I guess.
No, I mean, you don't expect AFC North games to go like that. You expect a little more defense.
Yeah, no shit. 89 points.
But as far as, it was 90 points, wasn't it? 47 to 42.
42. I went to West Carrollton.
Okay, so you're right. So that was 89 points. But I don't feel any different than I felt going into the game. The worst part is now they have to take care of business against the Giants, which I think they will.
Giants' defense is good, but their offense isn't.
Right. I usually don't start counting wins like, hey, that's a win. But this year, I think when you play the Jets, it's a win.
The Jets will make sure it's a win.
Yeah, right. I mean, they'll lose on purpose. They want you to win. They don't want to win. But as far as the Browns, man, just obviously, like I said, it sucks to lose, but I'm not that disappointed. I can't wait to get to Sunday now. It's like
it was a tough way to lose, though. Like Lamar comes back on 4th down.
Dude, Lamar and Baker just battled, dude. Boom, score after score, and
props to Lamar for running well and extending plays and stuff, but if he could make throws from the pocket, they wouldn't have even had to come back like that. They would have been up by a lot.
I put the loss on Joe Woods, the Browns' defensive coordinator. He didn't play him well. It's back when the 49ers made the run, and he was their passing game coordinator or secondary or whatever. He was the coach. He's never played Lamar well, and it's like Lamar to the Browns is like Baker is to the Bengals. You know, when Baker plays the Bengals, he's going to have a good game, and he's like our Achilles heel. Like, I feel like Lamar just has the Browns' number right now, and he proved it. I mean, now watch, he'll probably go against Jacksonville and won't look nearly as good. It's just the strangest thing.
He still didn't look that good throwing the football.
No, and he was missing wide open receivers that could have ended the game earlier, but you can't.
They could have been up a lot if he could make throws from the pocket.
Right. You can't sit there and just play man on man all day with these receivers and just let him run everywhere. You've got to blitz. You got to blitz your linemen too. You got to blitz 3 or 4. get your linebackers back to where they can keep eyes on them. You cannot turn your back on Lamar Jackson.
That's what I kept thinking that last night watching the game. I'm like, I feel like this is Madden. I'm like, put a spy on him.
Yeah, even a spy doesn't always help unless you have a really fast linebacker. I think it's just getting the guys into coverage and making him throw the ball. But because when you're rushing for over 200 yards, I mean, geez, man, like, I don't know. The Browns were able to run well against, a good front seven of the, of the Ravens. Their secondary was a little banged up, but so was ours. No Denzel Ward, no Ronnie Harrison.
Who was that one guy that was playing, like they showed him a lot last night? Stewart? Something like that?
Oh, yeah, MJ Stewart. He was getting ate alive. But, normally he doesn't normally play. But I'm not mad. I'm not mad at that just because the game proved the Browns can play with the big dogs. And I don't think there's a whole lot of teams right now that want to play Cleveland. I just don't see it. I don't think that there's a lot of teams that are going to be like, okay, we want Cleveland first round. And I'm not so sure. Well, we know the Browns are going to have to play the Ravens because they're probably both going to get in the wild card. But that's just the team that gives the Browns troubles. I mean, I'm not really afraid of any team right now outside of the Chiefs. I think the Browns can compete with about any team in the league. I think the Stefanski system is just it works. It works, and Baker's starting to get comfortable in it. And
he's finding a groove.
You are starting to see Baker really. He's starting to look better than rookie Baker. Also, Baker has been a completely different quarterback since the Odell injury. I mean,
who?
Right. I mean, that was his first interception last night since the interception he threw that Odell got hurt on.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah, I mean, it was the longest active streak for a non-interception. It was held by him. It was a bad interception. Linebacker dropped into coverage. He thought the linebacker was coming. You can't throw that ball there. But otherwise, dude, he put up close to 400 yards on a Baltimore defense, and
yeah, I mean, he threw for 343, 2 touchdowns, the 1 pick. It's. I mean, if an offense puts up 42 points, I'm typically not going to blame them for the loss on any way. I will shout out Nick Chubb. Not a 100-yard day, but 2 touchdowns got me in the money on FanDuel.
Mm-hmm.
Me, you, and Austin finished in the top 3. We all got a couple bucks there. Yeah, I mean, watching that game, and I'll be honest with you, man. I was talking to this Cody Gray from Caveman Media. I was on his Facebook.
He's a Browns fan.
Yeah, big Browns fan.
Yeah.
I was on his Facebook page earlier, and I commented, and I said, I've never rooted harder for the Browns than I did last night, and this is what you guys do to me. I was like, the Browns don't really bother me. Like, I know that
they don't bother you. You're never like.
Well, I identify with long-suffering fan bases, I think. I feel like I'm just like, I know what you guys have been through. But I also told him if they're consistently good and this is how they start being, I'm probably going to start hating them, and then I'm going to have smoke for you motherfuckers too.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm just like,
at least you're not one of the I don't know what to say. I guess say ignorant ones who is saying that the Browns win that game or the Browns are better with Carson Wentz.
What? People said that?
Dude, look at my Twitter. It's fucking
Carson Wentz
just got benched for Jalen Hurts.
That's why I don't do Twitter, man. People are fucking crazy on there. But Carson Wentz got benched for Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts came in and lit up the number 1 overall defense in the league and won
yeah.
with the same line and the same receivers that everybody's been making excuses for Carson Wentz for.
Yeah.
So I don't identify with that, man. I don't know. I've criticized Baker. I've said that I thought Baker was an Andy Dalton type guy, but I don't hate Baker. I don't know. Maybe I will. I mean, he's beat the Bengals 4 times in a row. Maybe I should be a little bit more mad at him. But just with the state of the Bengals and what they are, I don't know, man. The Browns just they don't bother me yet. Okay, if they start being really good and winning playoff games, and this is a consistent thing, then maybe they'll get on my fucking nerves a little bit more. But right now, I'm just like, you know what? Long-suffering fan base. It's been God knows how long since they've won a playoff game. I don't even know how long it's been since they've been to a playoff game. I just don't really. I don't know, it just doesn't bother me. The Bengals are shit. I hate Pittsburgh. I really don't even like. I don't have that much hatred for Baltimore even. I just really think Lamar Jackson's overrated as fuck, and that Pee Wee offense is annoying as shit.
Dude, the only people that I'm getting shit from are 2 10-1 Bengals fans. I gotta do what you said, man. I just gotta stop. I gotta stop falling into the trap of wanting to talk about it.
Oh, dude, I am I think that I'm going to retire from talking sports on the internet and make people that want my takes listen to this because it's so bad. I'm getting blown up about Michigan had a practice on Sunday. Well, yeah, Michigan did have a practice on Sunday because you're allowed to have a practice. It's just nobody knows how many people were at that practice. And Michigan scheduled a game, and yeah, they scheduled a game. They don't know if it's going to be played. I'm getting blown up from these Ohio State fans and all this stupid shit. I just like there was a post last night somebody put on there. Somebody else was coming. I don't even reply to that shit anymore, man, because like they see a headline from some bullshit website, and it's just I can't do it, man. If you guys want my shit, call in here and talk to me. People are on my damn nerves.
So you're the outsider looking in. Do you? Obviously, you agree that was a great game last night, right?
It was fun as hell. I'd gotten off the plane, got home, got relaxed, and all that shit, and it was nice just to have an entertaining football game to welcome myself back into my zone and my home, and just yeah, it was entertaining as fuck.
So I'm going to ask you the question. Obviously, I'm the Browns fan, so I'm going to be biased here. How good are the Cleveland Browns, in your opinion?
We were talking earlier. I think they can play with anybody. I think that outside of the Browns, there are 31 other teams in the league. I think if you lined up a football and they played, it wouldn't shock me that they beat anybody except for Kansas City. I think Kansas City is that good. I think Kansas City's I think they're untouchable. I think they get through the playoffs. They win the Super Bowl. Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, all that. I mean, it's just they just are what they are. But any team outside of Kansas City that the Browns lined up and played a football game against, I think they could beat them. I think they could beat Tampa. I think they could beat the Rams. I think they could beat, Miami. Anybody, especially the teams that are in the playoff mix, I think they could beat them. I think even though they lost to Baltimore last night, a couple plays, maybe you get Lamar on the ground, he doesn't extend the play, coverage doesn't break down. Maybe Denzel Ward plays, and he's a better corner than that Stewart guy. I think they're a couple plays away from winning that game. So I think Pittsburgh's pretty overrated. We saw them get taken out by Buffalo. We can talk about that in a minute. But to be completely honest with you, from my perspective of somebody that I don't root for the Browns. I did last night, but I think that the Browns could beat anybody but Kansas City. And I don't think that's too crazy to say. They run the ball well. Now, their defense isn't good. I mean, their defense is going to maybe be an Achilles heel come playoff time, but we've seen from Baker Mayfield, and I wanted to see him in this game specifically because it is a good defense. Now it was like, okay, the Browns are going to beat you because they're going to run the ball. They're going to give Baker easy plays. They're going to control the clock, and they're going to grind it out. But now you're starting to see an offense to where if Baker's this comfortable and going against a defense like Baltimore's he did last night, he's also able to keep you in it in a shootout. Mm-hmm. So
he's able to come back. I mean,
yeah, and usually, I guess not usually, but I think even earlier in the season, you see the Browns go down 14. The way that they were doing it at the beginning of the season, they're probably not going to come back from it.
Right.
They fought back and they got in. They had a little luck, the tip 2-point conversion to DPJ. Yeah. But I mean, to answer your question, I think they can line up and beat anybody in the league besides Kansas City. And I just don't think anybody in the league beats Kansas City as long as 15's taking the snap.
Yeah, that's not a knock because I actually agree with exactly what you're saying. I think that I just after that last night, I'm not afraid of many teams outside of Kansas City. Like, I know the defense is bad, but statistically, and I always send you these because the Browns have some weird fucking statistics this year.
They really do.
I mean, it's crazy. But I just found one today. Statistically, the Browns have the second best offense in the league.
Behind probably the Chiefs.
Behind the Chiefs.
Well, yeah.
But isn't that? I mean, you just think of all the offenses out there. It's like, wow, like that's crazy.
Yeah, like with the offense that the Bucs have down in Tampa. I didn't know that. That's wild. I know Austin told us the QBR stat that he was talking about today, which I thought was pretty wild, was that since October 25th, and maybe that's the day where Odell went down, I'm not 100% sure, but since October 25th, only 4 guys have a QBR above 70. Pat Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and Baker Mayfield.
All right.
It's not bad company to be
in. And I want to hit on this because I get this thrown in my face a fuck ton, dude. When before week 7, when the Browns played the Bengals for the second time, I came in here and I was pissed. I said I was done with Baker Mayfield. I said that he's average. I said that
you were out at one point.
He said
give Baker fuck that. Give Baker his apology.
Yeah. So, but I said I referred him to Andy Dalton.
Yeah, I did too.
Andy Dalton has never played what you seen Baker do last night. Never.
Yeah, probably not.
By the way, the Hail Mary, did you see how fucking far he threw the ball?
He threw it like out of the back of the end. Did you see
Dude, they said the ball traveled like 71 yards. I'm like, holy shit, I didn't know he could throw it that far.
I've never seen anybody really overthrow a Hail Mary from that spot of the field.
From that spot, I was like, there's no way he's making it to the end zone. He fucking overthrew the end zone.
Chuck Clark fucking did a header into the goalpost.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's better than average. What you've seen the last 2 weeks is better than average. What you've seen the last 2 weeks is way better than a game manager.
And how do you drop 2 fumbles on your first drive and not lose either one of them?
It's crazy.
Higgins, man.
Yeah. And you don't see that a lot out of Higgins.
He showed back up.
Yeah.
That was weird.
But Baker without Odell, man, it's crazy the difference. It still blows my mind how you could take a receiver like Odell off the field and be better. I just don't. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't think we'll ever get it. I don't think we'll ever.
And speaking of Higgins, by the way, they are working on a contract. It's been ongoing. So Higgins don't want to go anywhere. So he's probably going to sign a long term and probably get him for pretty cheap. Honestly, I mean not super cheap, but pretty cheap. And lock him up now.
And Jarvis had a good game. I mean, he's perfect passing on the season. So is he better than Baker?
Right. Did I remember when you were over watching at the house? I called him Mohamed Sanu.
Yeah, Sanu did that with the Bengals forever.
Yeah.
Like never threw an incompletion.
Yeah, but I'm not mad. I don't know. I'm just not mad about the loss. The Browns got to go take care of business. They went in as the 5th seed. They left the 5 seed. So right now the Browns still are the 5th seed in the playoffs. All you got to do is go to New York. You're going to New York for 2 weeks, so you don't even have to come back to Cleveland. You got the Giants, and then you got the Jets. You got to take care of business. You get to 11 wins, you're in the playoffs.
Especially with another team added. And looking at the stats from last night, it was weird because Baker's ball distribution was there. I mean, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys with multiple receptions. So, Harrison Bryant had 3, Chubb had 2. But you think the Browns are going to win a game, and they're like, okay, their rushing numbers are going to be crazy. And they were good between Baker, Hunt, and Chubb. 28 carries, 138 yards, 4.9 yards a carry, 4 rushing touchdowns. But then you look at the receiving number, it's like Hunt, 6 for 77. DPJ, 3 for 74, who's becoming like a big play only kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Higgins, 6 for 68. Landry, 6 for 52. Njoku, 3 for 45. Chubb, 2 for 21. Harrison Bryant, 3 for 18. So he was spreading the ball around very well.
He's playing good.
It's just that's typically not the stat line you would expect to see when the Browns win. But I mean, I
mean, you're talking about a whole different animal now, dude. If they can throw the ball, they can run the ball.
Yeah, and I'm not, anointing Baker Mayfield as the best quarterback in the world or anything like that, but I wanted to see how he would play against that defense. And, aside from the pick was bad. I mean, most picks are bad. But
you're going to get interceptions from Baker.
I mean, if you get one every 2 months, I mean,
yeah, but
whatever,
I mean, when you're winging it around like that, Baker. That's why Baker's been compared to Favre. Whether you like the comparison or you don't, the reason why Baker gets that comparison is because of the gunslinger mentality. What Favre did was to throw a pick, an awful pick, and then turn right around and punch 5 touchdowns in the end. You know what I'm saying?
Like, yeah, I mean, it happens.
Right. And do they
Pat
have
Mahomes
to be
had 3 picks last week.
Right.
So.
Right. I mean, and nobody's talking about it, which they shouldn't. But that, I mean, you're going to get that. You're going to get that. But if this Baker Mayfield, the last couple weeks has shown up, the Browns are in good shape, man. Like I said, I'm not sure if the defense can get a little bit better and stay healthy, get Ward and get Harrison back, then Ronnie Harrison. Then yeah, is
Greedy Williams ever going to play?
It's some kind of nerve in his shoulder. Stefanski got asked about it this morning, and he said that he's not going to rule him out for the season because he just doesn't know.
It's weird.
Somebody was looking into it, talk to a doctor or some shit from what he apparently has, and it's a 10 to 12 month recovery, but you could come back when it's like done hurting. It's a weird injury.
Nerve injuries are weird. I know you guys were really excited when he got drafted, and I hadn't heard anything more about it, so I just didn't know what you meant.
I'm not counting on him to play, but it will be nice to get Denzel back, because it sounds like Denzel's back this week.
Yeah, Ward is the key guy in that secondary. He's fucking good, man.
Yeah, and then, because Miles didn't have a big game at all last night. He actually nicked up his elbow, which he appears to be fine. Jedrick Wills, our rookie left tackle, who's been excellent, got his ankle banged up, and then Wyatt Teller got his ankle banged up, but they finished the game. Sounds like they're going to be good to go. So that's what you want to do. You want to get out of that game relatively healthy. But like I said, I'm not mad, man. You just got to go to New York and take care of business. Just get in these playoffs. So just talking about these playoffs in the AFC, what's your take, man? So you got 5 teams fighting for 3. You got the Browns at 5. You got the Colts or Titans at 6 right now. You have Miami at 7, and then teams still in, obviously, Baltimore and the Las Vegas Raiders. Who do you think's getting the 3?
I think the Raiders are out.
The Raiders lose one more, they are definitely out.
I got Justin Herbert beating them this week.
Man, I hope you're right. That would fucking help the Browns so much.
I'm going to go with the Titans coming out of their division, so I think that
Colts
they'll get one.
So you think the Titans win the South?
I think the Titans win the South.
Okay,
yes.
So then you think Indy gets...
I think Indy gets the wild card
Do you think they get 5?
Mm.
What's your 5, 6, 7?
5, 6, 7.
I'll tell you what I got real quick, and then you tell me. So I still got the Browns getting the 5. The Browns are at the 5 seed right now. Then I have I have the Colts getting 6, and I have the Ravens getting 7. But the Ravens are going to win out. It just depends, because then now that I think about it, the Ravens can jump the Browns with the same record because they have the head-to-heads.
Yeah, twice.
So Cleveland might end up at 6 unless the Browns can beat these both New York teams and then beat the Steelers.
So if it ended today, you'd have the Bills, the Titans, the Browns, the Colts, the Dolphins, the Chiefs, and the Steelers. So Chiefs, Steelers, given, obviously. I think the Titans win the division, so they get in there. The Bills win the division, so they get in there. So yeah, after that, I would have the Browns getting in, the Ravens getting in, and I'm going to go with the Colts. I trust the Colts more than I would trust.
So we
Derek Carr.
agree and think that the Raiders and the Dolphins both miss this year.
I think the Raiders and the Dolphins are probably going to be out, and that's.
I need Belichick to pull his magic against rookie quarterbacks this week against Tua and the Dolphins.
He could.
He just fucking made Herbert go insane.
Yeah. So I mean, he probably could, and I'm still not in on Tua, so that wouldn't shock me. Miami, I mean, how bad would it suck to be a Dolphins fan just because you get Pat Mahomes to throw 3 interceptions
and lose that game,
and you still lose? It's like, what more can I do?
So people, in my opinion, are going a little crazy about the Chiefs. They're saying that this team looks beatable, blah blah blah. Okay, what this team looks like to me is the Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant, who you're just trying to make it through the season. You're kind of bored, and then we can turn it on whenever in the fuck we want to.
That's how I feel about the Chiefs.
Like, the only interest the Chiefs really show is when it's the last drive and they got to go and they don't need a timeout, and Pat Mahomes takes them down the field in 30 seconds.
And I just flash back to the playoffs. Like, they kept getting down like 10 or more in the playoffs last year, and just boom, 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 they're back. Yeah, I think they're probably a little bit bored. I mean, trying to stay healthy, trying to get out of it.
And that sucks because you don't see that in the NFL a lot.
But they can.
They have the ability to do it.
The Chiefs 1,000% have a switch.
Yeah.
Like you see in the NBA. You saw that for years with the Cavs when LeBron was there. Like, they're bored. Playoff time, it's on. And I think the Chiefs are probably the only football team I've ever seen have that. And, they're still winning the games anyway. It's just like, yeah, maybe they're not looking great, but there's nobody in the league that I'm going to put money on against Pat Mahomes until proven otherwise. Now, I did say the other day, I do want to see how he is when that contract kicks in. What do they lose?
You mean how he is or just how the team is?
How he is with a team that maybe can't surround him quite as well.
Right.
But as we all know, the NFL contract is written on a napkin.
Right.
I mean, all they got to do is, we can't afford to give Travis Kelce a contract with a big cap hit, so we're just going to pay him a bonus out of our pocket. You can get around it. But I do just want to see that. I am going to give you some breaking news that I am just now getting. From Shams Karina, and we're going to have to switch sports here. Giannis Antetokounmpo says he is signing a contract extension with the Milwaukee Bucks. $228.2 million supermax extension with the franchise, the largest deal in NBA history.
Wow.
So
Giannis is here to stay.
is staying put. I think I stopped giving a shit when LeBron signed for 3 or 4 more years and AD signed for 5. I was like, well, Giannis isn't coming. So, but that is the happenings that I just got that from Shams. He sent it to me directly. Because I have tweet notifications on for him. But, yeah, so Giannis stays put there. But, yeah, back to the NFL, man. Chiefs are probably going to win the fucking Super Bowl, but I think the Browns can hang with anybody not named them, and they could possibly even hang with them.
I said last week, I've said the last 2 weeks, I said they have the recipe with being able to run the ball. Now, when
Stephen A. said it today.
Yeah.
You said, damn, has he been listening to us?
Yeah. He did. He said he thinks the Browns. Stephen A. said he thinks the Browns are the Chiefs' biggest threat. But I said with the recipe of being able to run the ball. But the problem is you don't want to get out in a shootout with Pat Mahomes. All right, you say Browns and Chiefs in a shootout. You got to go with fucking Pat Mahomes.
Yeah. I can't.
I mean,
if you tell me Pat Mahomes is, if you tell me the Chiefs are playing, I'm going to bet on them. But if you say it's going to be a shootout. That's not a knock at Baker. I'm taking Pat Mahomes.
Not a knock on any quarterback.
Yeah, it just is what it is. Pat Mahomes. And I always said that Brady was the best quarterback I'd ever seen, and Rodgers was the most talented quarterback I've ever seen. I've seen enough of Pat Mahomes to say that I still think Brady's the best quarterback I've ever seen, but Pat Mahomes is by far the most talented I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think Pat Mahomes could easily go down as the greatest quarterback when it's all said and done.
He's getting 3 or 4 more. At least.
Yeah.
So there's that. So let's transition into Andy Dalton's return to Paul Brown Stadium.
The Cowboys.
The return after Zach Taylor benched him on his birthday last year.
The Cowboys go into Cincinnati and beat the Bengals 30-7.
Dalton said, "You bitched me on my birthday. Here's 30 on your ass." And
we
have a butt fumble. The Bengals have a butt fumble.
I was about to say, it actually wasn't all Dalton. The Cowboys defense showed up and showed out. Like you said, the butt fumble. The Bengals could not hold on to the ball. Fumbles from Gio. Fumbles from
Travion Williams.
Yeah, Williams. I mean, they just couldn't hold on to the ball. All of a sudden, the Cowboys had a defense.
Well, the Bengals can make anybody look like they have a defense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not hard.
That is going to – but that is – you can actually root for the Bengals to beat Pittsburgh this week because even with the win, they
got
stay at the 3 seed.
They got a 2-game lead. Yeah.
So you don't have to be like, okay, Pittsburgh beat us. You know what I'm saying? Like you can win. Like you can win this game.
I would never root to lose to Pittsburgh. We are going to lose to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But I would never root to lose.
Them coming off 2 losses on Monday Night Football, it's going to get a little messy.
Brandon Allen though, what if he just dude? He couldn't fucking walk at the end of that game. He was like fucked up, and Zach Taylor's like, "Oh, we'll just keep dropping back."
Well, fucking they don't trust Finley at all.
Would you?
No. But here's
Allen didn't look terrible.
Here's my biggest thing though, and I think we've hit on this before. If you don't trust Finley at all, why the fuck was he your backup?
No shit.
Like, is it because you drafted him, and you want it to look like, okay, if something happens, we have Finley, but we hope to God.
Round pick. Nobody cares if you cut him.
Well, they traded up to get him.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
they did. Oh, fuck. I forgot about that part.
So that's my thing. It's like they keeping their fingers crossed that they wouldn't have to play Ryan Finley. You know, because now it's
I would keep my fingers crossed that I didn't have to play Ryan Finley.
Like if Brandon Allen couldn't make it, I bet you it wouldn't even be Finley next. They fucking signed somebody else.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. I said this on Facebook last night. I said I honestly forget what it's like to give a shit about a football team after mid-November. Like I really just I forget. I mean, 424.
AJ Green showed up though.
AJ had the best day of his career. He had as many catches in that game as he had in like the last month combined. Got in the end zone. Spoke about his future with the franchise after the game. They said, are you excited to get back and play with Burrow in 2021? And he was just like, we'll see where we're at. He's gone, but
he he was the first one, and he fucking sprinted across the field to see Andy, which I thought was cool.
They're AJ, his wife, Andy, his wife, they were super, super close. There was like a whole article about how before he left that they were just super, super tight. They're very good friends. And Dalton's wife, you could see on her Instagram, I still follow her, that it was cool. She was like with all her old girls that she used to watch the games with and shit. Like, it was cool. And the Bengals had a big sign up where there's always a spot where there's like a painted sign. I don't know who does it. Some fans, I'm guessing, but it said, "Thank you, Andy and JJ, for changing lives," because they did a whole lot for
the community.
For the community in Cincinnati. So it was a cool story. I expected the Bengals to lose. I didn't expect it to be that bad. But every week it's like, oh, this was the ugliest game of the Zach Taylor era. And then it's like, yeah, it is, but wait till next week. Dude, they just get worse.
So I had an
argument.
An argument on Twitter, obviously, with a Bengals fan. And this is an interesting one, actually. I think you're going to like this one. Well, you probably aren't. You're not going to like this one. So so they went on to say about how long the list of head coaches the Browns have had. And I said, that's funny because that is a fucking long list of bad coaches. But I said, I don't think any of them are as bad as Zach Taylor.
Freddie Kitchens got 6 wins.
Yeah.
Adam Gase is like the poster boy for shitting on a coach in the NFL. And he's got more wins than Zach Taylor. And I think, was he there one more year? 2? I mean, I don't know.
Dude, I don't think Gase is as bad as Taylor.
They're close.
I mean,
they're close. They're close. Taylor's bad. Oh no,
but
don't get me wrong.
I've been saying this for 2 years. You're fucking on it right now. You've been on it this whole year. Like, you started making T-shirts and shit. But now the rest of the Bengals fans are seeing it. Like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know how you sell it, man. But the thing is, there is no expectation that he loses his job.
Yeah,
the expectation is that he stays, and they're going to mandate that he changes up his assistant coaches.
That never works, dude.
It never
works.
But yeah, he's maybe the worst football coach I've seen of all time. It's like Hugh Jackson wasn't this.
Yeah, I mean, at this, it's like you said. You've made the point several times. Like, at this point, I think I would rather have fucking Hugh Jackson and fucking Marvin Lewis.
Dude, Marvin Lewis is the defensive coordinator at Arizona State now. When I was down in Florida, we watched a lot of college ball. The people I was staying with are real into college. He's the D coordinator at Arizona State right now.
How's the defense?
The defense was good.
But defense was never his. No,
he was a great defensive coordinator. But and if Mike Brown called him up right now, I might be like, hey, bring him back.
I mean, he's better than Zach Taylor. I mean, that's
sad, man.
I mean, what was the statistic you said about Zach Taylor? He hasn't won a road game yet?
He has never won a road game in almost 2 full seasons. The best he has is the tie against the Eagles this year. He's never won away from Paul Brown Stadium.
Like, how do you retain this guy?
He has had more players ejected from games in his coaching tenure than he has wins in games. And I think he almost tied it in the Miami game a couple weeks ago.
That's fucking insane.
All this, and we've said it a million times, but this culture, this communication, none of it's there. The only culture he has created is a losing one. I mean, there is no guys are.
Pac-Man said it the best.
Man, we gotta get Pac-Man in here. He hits the nail on the head every week. Yeah, I mean. I don't know, man. I don't know how the organization is going to sell it. I don't know how that even clueless ass, old ass doesn't know like what the internet is. Ass Mike Brown has to be able to see like this.
Right.
This isn't it. Like this isn't the guy. Like, but I just think the problem with the Bengals is unless they give up the organizational control that it takes to get a good coach, I think that this is what you're going to see. It's like I said last week. You're just going to have to hope that they hire some young, inexperienced guy that's going to be cheap and the organization can still kind of run the show. And maybe you just hope he is the next Sean McVay and he's that genius mind. But it's just the Bengals are a poverty franchise, man. Like, that's just what they are. It's
So let
I
me
think
ask
I've
you this.
seen the height of the Bengals. I think the height of the Bengals was like the Palmer years and maybe like a couple of the Dalton years. I just nothing gives me faith that it's going to get any better.
So let me ask you this question. This, don't be a smartass about it. Answer this with.
It's very hard for me to not be a smart.
All right, so just answer this to the best of your ability. Burrow's obviously going to. Will he be back next season? I guess.
His surgeon, on that topic, I read an article the other day. His surgeon said that he is very encouraged that he could be back next year early on. He said, it wouldn't shock me if he makes it back for the start of the season, but that depends on the rehab. But he said he's done all these surgeries on like Saquon and Burrow and a couple other guys. And he said that all of the ACL tears that he's done this year have been, for some reason, very complex. There's always something else in it. But he said that he expects him to make a return early next season, and it wouldn't shock him if he's there at the beginning of next season. So I was going to hit on that anyway, but now that you bring it up, I'll just get that out.
All right, so let me
continue on.
All right, let me ask you this question. So let's say Burrow is there, the start of training camp, start of the season. How does a Bengals fan get excited, even with Burrow back, if Zach Taylor's back?
I think the only thing that could slightly excite you is if Penny Sewell's playing left tackle. Mm-hmm. Maybe Jonah Williams is back to right tackle, and they've spent good money on guards. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't even mind a center upgrade. I don't think Trey Hopkins is that bad.
I don't either.
But they should spend money on guards like a Brandon Sheriff, like a Joe Thuney, or I don't know how to pronounce it. Those guys that are going to be free agents. I think you could then get excited about, because the thing about it is Zach Taylor's offense hasn't always looked terrible. There are times where it looks like a pretty solid offense, but the biggest issue with Zach Taylor is he just shouldn't be the head coach of a football team. He should still be an offensive assistant, not even a coordinator. But, I mean, you could find a way to get excited if Taylor's back and, maybe the O-line coach has been changed and shit like that. I guess you could find a way. We probably will find a way as Bengals fans. There's no reason to think that anything's going to be any better. They're going to win any more games with Zach Taylor as the head coach. I think the only thing to be excited about would be, hey, they drafted Sewell, which should be a no-brainer. Maybe Jonah goes to left or right tackle because he hasn't looked all that great at left tackle. Maybe he finds his groove there, back where he was at college. You spend some money on the line. Mixon comes back healthy. You got T. Higgins there. You got Tyler Boyd there. And Jesse Bates is still the highest rated safety in the league on the defense. The defense hasn't looked awful. I know they didn't look too great this last week, but the offense gave up some points too. There are things you could find a way to be excited about it, but if Zach Taylor is still the head man on the sidelines, I'm not going to expect anything. At that point, it's going to be, all right, let's see if we can get through this season without getting Burrow hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That would be the biggest accomplishment next year. If Zach Taylor's still the head coach, does Burrow play a full season? Can he fucking walk?
Yeah, shows you got to protect your future. You got to protect fucking your quarterback. So
yeah, but his buddy Jim Turner told him that it was okay. Right. It was his buddy from the Dolphins who sucks as a coach and had he had a women in football seminar for women. Like, the NFL teams will do that. They'll bring him in and talk to him about football. And he said like all kinds of sexist shit during it. Like he's like not a good dude. He was like involved in the Bullygate shit in Miami. And then he gets a job because he's buddies with Zach Taylor, and he told Zach Taylor this line will be fine, I promise.
So hopefully, at least if Zach Taylor's back, they can fix the offensive line and keep Burrow in the right direction.
If he's the head coach next year, it's a complete travesty as an organization. It's terrible. It's bad ownership. It's anything that you could think to call it that is bad. It is. He shouldn't be back. There's no reason he should keep his job. He probably shouldn't be anything higher than a quarterback coach, which is what he was. When we got him, so
I'm not even sure he's an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, there have been flashes.
You know what I'm saying? You got to try and get the run game going.
Dude, there's so many and it's December. It's the 15th. It is the dead middle of December. He has watched that line play since September, and he's still doing all of these 5-step drops. Yeah. He's not even getting the ball out quick anymore.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the year, it's like, oh, Burrow's throwing a lot, but he's doing some quick hitters. It's kind of, the short passing game can be your running game. I get that. But no, he's dropping Brandon Allen back 5 times behind his line, getting him fucked up and leaving him in the game when he can hardly walk. It's like, what are you doing?
All right, two questions. Let's transition a little bit away from the Bengals, and let's answer these. All right, so seeing what has happened to Joe Burrow here in Cincinnati, no protection, the coaching staff's all fucked up and whatnot. Does Trevor Lawrence say, no, I am not going to the Jets? Absolutely not.
I think that the most likely way to do that is, A, he has to evaluate what they do. If Adam Gase is still the head coach next year by some reason, then yeah, Eli Manning that shit out. I'm not playing. I'm not playing for you.
I will not look down upon Trevor Lawrence if he just outright come out and says, hey, I am not playing for the Jets. My career's not going that way. Like, there's just no way I'm not doing it.
I don't think anybody would have blamed Burrow for doing it to Cincinnati because everybody said that was coming, and I defended it, which naturally I would, but look what happened. Mm-hmm. A career-altering knee injury. So if I'm Trevor Lawrence...
Right, that's what I'm saying, looking at what's happened to Burrow.
Yeah, if I'm Trevor Lawrence and the Jets are on the clock, Adam Gase is the head coach, and they haven't done anything to make you believe that they're going to be any better, I would say I'm not playing for you. Now, if they fire Gase and maybe they go get, a Bill Cowher, which has been tossed around, or an Eric Bieniemy, or Brian Dable, or a guy like that, and you're Trevor Lawrence and you're comfortable with it, and maybe you see that they've spent some money on their offensive line because by the draft you can kind of see how they've handled their offseason. Then you go do it. You take your money and you hope for the best. But if they're going to field the same Jets team with the same Jets staff next year, that's where the point where I'd take the reputation hit or whatever comes with it and be like, yeah.
I'm not even sure you get a bad reputation hit there.
I mean, you don't. Eli Manning did it first, but then
what was his excuse though? I mean, because
the Chargers were just shit. He didn't want to play for the Chargers. He wanted to be in New York in a bigger market. Yeah. But he won 2 rings and nobody gives a shit anymore.
Right,
People still talk about it, but. He took a little bit of a hit, who is this kid? Why are you doing this? Who do you think you are? You've never played it down. But it went away after a while, and I think Trevor Lawrence will be good enough.
I would not blame Trevor at all if he pulls that card.
But then do you want to go to Jacksonville?
I actually think Jacksonville.
I think it's a better spot.
Well, I think they got more going on. At least Jacksonville's fighting in all these games. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's just times they're just outmatched, but they've just traded away all their assets for draft picks or whatnot, just like the Dolphins did, just like the Bengals should be doing. But I like the Jacksonville spot. I don't think Jacksonville's the spot. I think it's way better than what's going on in New York.
Well, Jacksonville as a spot is like, it sucks because Jacksonville's like the fucking armpit of Florida.
Yeah, but
like,
but Jacksonville,
but organizationally,
they were just good. They know how to build a team there.
Yeah, and the owner's kind of iffy, but. I mean, they weren't starting Minshew on purpose. He got hurt, but he was healthy and still getting better.
And he's starting
They're
this week.
Trying to lose.
Well, yeah. Well, they have a quarterback issue.
Yeah,
they want. It looks like they're going to get Fields unless the fucking Jets have a hiccup here. So the next question, we're going to stay on this topic of the Jets, okay? And this is a good one. I was thinking about this. I was like, man, that'd be good for the podcast. The 0-16 Browns versus this year's New York Jets.
Oh, man.
Who's better?
Hugh versus Gase.
Who's better? You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead. I got to think about that for a second. You didn't prep me for this one at all.
I didn't. I think, and this isn't a homer, but at least that Browns team was trying to win.
Yeah, they were actively.
You know what I
to win.
mean? Like they fucking sucked and they went 0-16 and ended up getting on Myles Garrett, but fucking Corey Coleman drops that pass on Week 17 against Pittsburgh's backup.
I still have a Snapchat memory of you after that. That was fucking. You were fucking mad because of course you don't want to go 0-16.
Well, because it's like the Bengals this week. Like you can beat Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? You don't have to do that. Like the last thing they want to do is go 0-16. You know what I mean? But I think that at least that Browns team was trying to win. I mean, you got like Deshaun Kaiser, fucking Corey Coleman. I mean, the team wasn't good, but I'm not so sure that they were this year's Jets bad.
I mean, yeah, but how bad are the Jets? Because I mean, they ran a 0 blitz with 4 seconds left. You know, like
and you just like the saying's true. It's hard to go 16-0, but it's even harder to go 0-16 in the NFL
really is.
With pro athletes.
I'm gonna go with the Jets just because I think
you
Darnold
want them to prove it, like go 0-16.
Yeah, and I think Darnold.
I'm starting to turn on Darnold. I used to think it was just this New York shit, but he don't even look good.
Well, yeah, but how much does he have to look good with? Who's the best receiver on the Jets?
Jay Crowder's dope, dude. Not Jay Crowder. Fucking is it?
Jay Crowder's a fucking basketball player. Jamison Crowder.
Jamison Crowder.
Yeah, Jay Crowder's the basketball player.
Yeah.
I'll give it to them just because.
Plus Brashawn Perriman. I would love to have Brashawn Perriman back.
Perriman is nice.
I don't. So I mean, I don't.
Who was the quarterback on that last Browns game when they went 0-16? It wasn't still Kaiser, was it?
Kaiser or whoever the fuck was on that team?
Was it not Deion Lewis, Darius Lewis, Deshaun Lewis? That one dude that popped up every now and then?
I don't remember.
He was like Thad Lewis. Thad Lewis. Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
I see
if it was him, I would like to
I'm
know
saying
that.
like last week of the year, you put both of those teams on there. They're both 0-15. One of them's going to fight to win a game. I mean, the Browns were almost there, and I haven't seen the Jets' conclusion, but I'm going to go with the Jets just because I think Darnold's better than whoever the fuck started that last game for Cleveland.
Yeah, okay, and I think that's a.
It's going to be like 6-3.
Yeah, I think that is. I see what you're saying there, so I get that point, but I just go back to the point that at least they were trying to win. Yeah,
I mean they were trying to win. I think if they were both on the field trying to win. I'm just going to go against you and say Darnold beats out whoever the hell threw that ball to Corey
Was
Coleman.
It Kevin Hogan?
I don't know. The Bengals got him for a minute.
So the quarterbacks on that team were Kevin Hogan, Cody Kessler, and Deshaun Kaiser.
My God.
Yeah, so it was one of them.
What are those guys doing right now? I think last I heard from Kevin Hogan, he was on the Bengals practice squad for a minute. Give me the Jets on that. So,
that's an interesting one. I would love to hear what our listeners had to say to that.
Yeah,
we got to post that up.
Yeah, give us your feedback on that. Maybe we'll put that post out. We probably should have done that before we could have read your answers off. So
yeah, I didn't think of it, but then I got in here and was kind of like, man,
that is a good idea though. Yeah, that's weird. We could throw those 0-16 Lions into there too. Remember how bad they were that year? I think they were trying to win too.
And then what? How bad was Miami 0-16 the year that they?
No, I think they got 1 or 2 that year.
I forget who the other one was. There was a team that was. I thought it was Miami. I think the 0-6. Yeah, I think you're right. It was the Lions. Now that team was worse than the Browns.
Yeah,
team. That team was bad.
They had like Dan Orlovsky.
He was like running out the back of the end zone, dude.
Hey, he's fucking all over ESPN now, so good for him.
But he's a good analyst.
Yeah, he is. I like him a lot. So
let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about probably the last thing here, man. The Ohio State Buckeyes are playing in the Big Ten Championship this Saturday against Northwestern. The Big Ten officials come in, change it up, say, okay, you don't need the 6 games. I know how I feel about it. What do you think?
All right. So for the last month and a half, I have been on Facebook and Twitter and everywhere else, and I've seen people just so mad that the Democrats changed the rules of the election while it was taking place to benefit them and steal an election, right? People are pissed. The Democrats told you can't change the rules as the game's being played to help you out. That's bullshit. But now, well, of course we did. Go Bucks. No, fuck that. If you're bitching about an election being stolen because the rules were changed during the election, you cannot then say, go Bucks, we're the best team ever. We're going to win the Big Ten Championship because they changed the rules as the game was being played for you. That is horse shit. Okay? They're the best team in the Big Ten. I know that. You know that. Everybody in America knows that. But the rule was set in place, and Ryan Day's like, oh, well, things have changed since that rule was put in. Bullshit. I don't care. They should be in the Big Ten Championship. That's fine. I have no issue with them going, but I don't want to hear another fucking Ohio State fan posting shit about how they're the best team and they changed the rule because we are the Big Ten. Blah, blah, blah. That's cool. They're bigger than the Big Ten. I admit that. But don't bitch about the election getting stolen because they changed the rules during the election if you're going to be like, yeah, the Buckeyes got the rules changed for them because we're so badass. Take a look at all my red hoodies. Fuck off.
All right, calm down.
That's bullshit.
Calm down.
That's bullshit.
Calm down a minute. let's just say this, and I think we can agree with this. The rule was fucking stupid to put in place in the first place.
I don't think it's necessarily stupid.
Why? That is fucking terrible.
I mean,
you can't play over COVID, and the Buckeyes got pretty much forced into playing Michigan State, and they couldn't even fucking get a snap down, because they were so shorthanded.
Well, they shouldn't have been so scared of Lovie Smith in Illinois then.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about being scared real quick. You wanted to go here, so let's go there real quick. So it comes out that your team, Big Blue, fucking had 45 positive cases when they wanted to play Ohio State. Back that truck up, because that's not true.
Yeah, where did you see that? You text me. I never saw anything.
I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you right after we're done recording. It happened to be nine positives, 5 coaches, 4 players.
I just want to know who proved that.
Not only that,
not
only that,
story.
and this is true. On Thursday, Michigan practiced, and then on Sunday, Michigan practiced.
Yeah, Ohio State practiced too when they missed that game against Illinois. You just can't have those people there. There's a rule.
You can practice, so you can practice, but you can't play.
Yeah, there's a requirement in the Big Ten rules that says, and I think that was part of why Ohio State missed.
I think that Harbaugh thought this is a way he could stick it to Ohio State. Now, I'm not so because you've been in here saying you'd rather take your ass whooping than run.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure that's what Harbaugh did.
Well, Harbaugh's not the one that.
Yeah, but Michigan. I'm not so sure that's what Michigan did. I'm not so sure that they thought that they could stick it to the Buckeyes. They knew they weren't going to win that. They were 30-point underdog. Michigan finished this season with a worse record than the fucking Rutgers.
Well, not yet. We got one more game.
And you say
we got one more game.
And you say
I say that.
And you say that Harbaugh's got a 3-year extension sitting on his desk.
Well, there's been more that comes out about that they don't think he's going to take it because his ego will not allow him to accept a pay cut.
Okay, well then that's good for you guys.
Yeah, I mean it is good. He'll probably go to the pros or something. But you text me about that. I never saw anything of substance about it. If that is the case, I don't know how that's not a much bigger story than just hearing about it from you because I haven't heard about that from anybody else. But I know that they had a practice. But in the Big Ten, it says that if you have enough COVID infections in a certain position group, that you cannot play. That you have the right to, obviously say that you don't want to play the game. So I just haven't seen anything that it was only the 9.
That's a bitch way to go down. We don't have a right guard, so we can't play the game. Well, fucking, you better get your.
Well, then why didn't Ohio State play Illinois?
No, you're right. You better get your left tackle in there at right guard.
Well, it's a position group. The position group is the offensive line.
But this is the problem. But this is the problem. The making the rule itself in general. You got to have 6 games. This is why it was terrible this year. And not only that, we agree. The ones that fought are the Big Ten.
The Big Ten Conference failed everyone.
Failed. So they gave you no room to play these games. So we miss out on Ohio State, Michigan because of the Big Ten.
Yeah, I went to Florida for no reason.
So with that being said, this is on them. So they had to fix it. They had to fix because they want to. You got to.
Or you just
I know it's different between Ohio State and Michigan, but there comes a time where you're watching these bowl games and you want the Big Ten to win because you want it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
not anymore. Bowl games are fucking
worthless.
But
the way it used to be. So you want to be like, okay, because you're always comparing the Big Ten to the SEC or the Big Ten to the ACC or whatever. So you tend to root. So you know what I mean? Like, so teams you wouldn't root for in season. So say like not even Ohio State, Michigan. Say like Northwestern, Purdue, Illinois. You're like, okay, we want to see those guys win just because they are the Big Ten.
No, I personally don't give a fuck.
Yeah, see, I do.
Because I don't give a fuck how the Big Ten looks. I just care about how my team looks.
Yeah, but I personally think that it's a good look and it shows that there's competition there. But with that being said, the Big Ten had to do what they had to do here.
Ohio State has beat teams with a combined wins of like 14 or some shit though. Like their resume is not any better than some of these other teams.
They've only played 5 games, so when you say 14, it's like
that
ain't much.
But I mean, I get it. It's a shitty rule, but there's shitty rules everywhere, and they don't just change them.
Yeah, but that was the Big Ten's fault in this fucking crazy year. They had to do that.
So that's why Joe Biden got to steal the presidency then.
What the fuck I'm saying.
I'm just saying, man.
That's been fucking building up for 4 years.
People don't want the rules to change as the game's being played.
That's been building up for 4 years. This has happened in months.
Yeah.
Months.
Yeah. I'm just saying, man, you don't want the rules changed while the game's being played.
And there's a big difference.
Is there, though?
Yeah, there's a huge difference.
I don't know. I don't get it. I don't like it.
It's all right.
They should be in the Big Ten championship. Don't get me wrong; they're the best team in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean,
but
there's
the
no
rule
question
was
of
the
that.
rule.
There's no question
the
of
rule
that.
was the. We don't like
The
targeting
rule
either.
just came in this year.
We don't like targeting either.
That is a stupid fucking rule. You shouldn't.
But
You
it's
shouldn't
still
be
here.
getting disqualified because you accidentally hit somebody in the fucking head.
I'm just saying, man, you can't change the rules as you go.
Doesn't the rule about targeting need to be changed?
Oh yeah, completely. But not in the middle of the game because it benefits one team more than the other.
It doesn't matter. The Buckeyes are by far, like you've said on here a million times, they are by far the best team in the Big Ten. They're favored against Northwestern by 20?
Yeah, but they didn't play it safe enough to play Illinois.
Okay,
so
well,
that's their own fault.
we're going to stop Northwestern, and you're going to watch us in the college football playoffs again.
Yeah, and they're going to get smoked by Clemson.
No,
Probably
they're not.
Again.
No, they're not. Clemson.
Man, come on, your best wins against Indiana was 7. Get the fuck out.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like I just said, you guys have a worse record than the fucking Rutgers.
Yeah, until we beat Iowa on Saturday.
Are you guys even going to be able to play it?
I don't know. But they tried to schedule another
you
one.
ain't beating Iowa.
They tried to schedule another one because the seniors want to play, but I don't even know who's going to.
Oh, the seniors want to play that, but they probably didn't want to play Ohio State. They knew what was up.
No, dude. If you go to Michigan, whether you think you're going to lose by 50 or not, you do not want to miss out on your final Ohio State game. No player that wore a helmet and shoulder pads that day.
Oh, isn't that what you're just telling me?
No.
Oh, do they?
Well, that's not about a rule change. This is about senior day at Michigan Stadium.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody that puts on a helmet and shoulder pads did not want to miss their senior day in the Big House against Ohio State, regardless of the outcome. No, none of those players did. And that's just like people say, well, that guy's a pussy.
Did you wear the Ohio State jersey?
No.
Right.
My dad gets down there. He starts fucking drinking and shit. He's like, well, I brought the jersey. You got to wear it on Saturday. I'm like, the fuck I do? He's like, well, it's a forfeit. I said, it's not a forfeit. There's no record book. And then Austin, my advisor, our good buddy Austin, says, well, if Vegas takes the bet down, you get your money back.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas took the bet down.
I personally agree with you. I didn't think you had to wear it. The game wasn't ever played, so I didn't think you should have to wear it. I mean, we knew what was going to happen. If they played, you were going to wear it.
Any given Saturday, you never know.
But next year, there's always next year. I mean, you've worn it like what, the last fucking 9 years, 10 years?
Hey man, I got a picture of Dad in 2011 with a Tate Fortier jersey on.
He looks completely different.
Yeah, he's got a lot.
It's been that long.
He's got a lot more hair. The hair's a lot darker. It's a different. I look a lot different. I was skinny.
What?
Well, I wasn't skinny.
Well, in 2011, yeah. So both you guys look fucking different.
I wasn't skinny.
That's how long it's been, though, bro.
Yeah. So next year when he wears it,
we're well over 3,000 days, right?
Whatever this countdown bullshit.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Look, Ohio State fans, they sing the song, we don't give a damn for the whole state of Michigan, but they keep a fucking countdown. Well, yeah, my dad's my dad. Of course I know it. They keep a fucking countdown, and they take time to remove the letter M from everything that they say and all this shit. So it's like, you do give a damn.
So all the shit that Harbaugh took out is what you're saying?
Well, no, because Michigan never did any of that. We don't take out the letter O from anything we say. He took down the countdown clocks, which is I've always said was completely wrong, complete bullshit. Because Ohio State immediately after that game got canceled, there was a video posted online of their clock changing to next year, the countdown for next year. That's what you need. They live it, they breathe it, and that's why they've dominated it for the last 20 years or whatever the fuck it's been. But they still have the worst fan base in sports. Bar none. I think they might be worse than Steelers fans after all.
No, welcome to my world. Those are the same fans that I keep telling you about.
Oh, well, look at us. We're so good, and the Big Ten should change the rules for us, and blah, blah, blah. Well, then I guess that they're all happy that Joe Biden's the fucking president now or whatever. And that's not over yet either, but we'll stay off that one today. And then other news, NBA back in a week. We'll touch on that real quick. There'll be more once we start seeing teams play.
Yeah, real quick predictions here because the season starts next week.
The Lakers are winning it all. They're going 72-0.
Okay, so I about to say AFC, NFC. So Eastern Conference, Western Conference. Who is it?
The Eastern Conference Finals will be the Brooklyn Nets versus the Milwaukee Bucks.
And in my opinion, the Nets win that. The Nets look fucking – it's just a preseason, but you could see KD and Kyrie's been working. They look dialed in. Plus, just that the overall the team is just – they're loaded, man.
Dude, Kyrie's so fucking weird. Like
he is weird.
He got fined for not doing media day, and he posted this shit on Instagram like, I don't waste my time
something?
with pawns. And like, he's just fucking weird.
He's a weird dude, man.
But KD's like, he's the kind of guy that has a burner account, so maybe that works. But yeah, I think the Nets beat the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Lakers, the Los Angeles Lakers, will repeat as NBA champions. They will beat the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals. Okay. And Paul George signed like a huge contract extension after that shitty playoff showing. And there's an investigation.
Don't you have to re-sign PG-13 though?
I wouldn't have ruled out trading him. But
okay,
if you
but
can't trade him for a guy, then I guess you have to.
There's only so many stars.
And the league investigation that's going on within the Clippers organization is going to be fun because Jerry West apparently paid some guy $2.5 million to start a months-long plan to convince Kawhi to sign with the Clippers. There's like an investigation going on, like spending accounts, and like Kawhi's uncle got like a fucking spending account from the fucking Clippers and a plane and all kinds of shit.
That's insane.
The Clippers will make it to the Western Conference Finals. They'll lose to the Lakers. The Lakers will be NBA champions. Montrezl Harrell will be Sixth Man of the Year. They look pretty good. The Lakers haven't played LeBron and AD till tomorrow night. I don't tune into much preseason basketball, but it will be fun to have a good sports team back because Duke is pissing me off too.
Man,
I'm not gonna lie,
me too, bud.
I don't like what Coach K's been saying.
No, I don't either.
But that's maybe for another day. But yeah, that's the way too early NBA predictions. I'm excited for that to tip off. I'm
real
call
quick on the
TV.
NBA. Real quick on the NBA. How good? Say the Rockets keep Harden. How good can they be now with John Wall and Boogie?
Boogie has looked good from what I've seen, and I will always root.
I like John Wall and Boogie team, though. I think that's dope.
I'm
not a UK fan at all, but I still think it's dope.
I will always root for Boogie to do well.
And I like John Wall. He's a dog in 2K, bro.
Yeah, he is. He's so fast. Dude, I need to get the new 2K. Yeah, I mean, they can make it to the second round. I don't think they're going to I still don't think Harden's going to win anything of consequence as the main guy of your team. I still don't. I still think James Harden's overrated. I think he may work better with Wall than Russ. I still don't know how sold I am on them two together, but I think it will be a better fit than it was with Russell Westbrook.
Okay,
that would probably be my.
I'm with you though. I got Nets Lakers championship, and I actually have the Nets winning it. I think both those rosters are loaded.
KD could never beat LeBron until he linked up with Steph and them.
I still think that
LeBron had him crying to his mother on a team that had Harden and Westbrook on it.
I mean, I'm not gonna go there because honestly, I don't really like either one.
That's fair.
I like LeBron the player. I don't like.
Yeah. I don't like LeBron off the court.
I think KD's like Kyrie. They're both like just weird as fuck. But I think KD's a great player, obviously.
I think Kyrie's just high all the time.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he just smokes like really, really good weed and thinks about wild shit.
Yeah,
and they're not testing him for it, so.
No, and it's out this year, so they could smoke before the game. And they're not going to get tested. Yeah,
I think everybody should be able to smoke as much weed as they want, but
that's also a discussion for another day.
Yeah, that's for probably a different podcast. So I think that's probably about all we got for you guys today. We appreciate you tuning in.
This pick'em.
Yeah, reminder of the pick'em. We took a little bit of a hit last week, and it always seems like after there's all these games have been changed to COVID. When there's a quick turnaround, it goes down a little bit, but we're back to a Thursday deadline. Cash App, $, Drew Garrison, $10. We have
Go
the link
Chargers.
Everywhere.
And by the way, we also got Saturday game. We got 3 Saturday games this week. So
really,
yeah. So
3 of them,
right? So
didn't know that.
So when you put in those picks Thursday, I would just try and lock them. But I think you might only have until those games start Saturday to really lock them in.
Yeah. So
which is weird though because now that I say that the Buckeyes play at noon. And there's 3 NFL games this week. So that is weird.
Yeah, the college did that because they wanted all the conference championships to be like the main TV game of that time slot. So we'll see that. But yeah, make sure to get into it. I'll look into how the picks locking with the Saturday games will be, and I send out an email a couple times a week to everybody that's in as a reminder. But yeah, feel free to get in there. We're going to try to run that thing up. We have given away like over $5,000, I think, at this point of the year, or close to it.
A lot.
So I'll get all that posted up. The link is out there on our Facebook and our Instagram and our Twitter now. So get with us on that. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Locker Room Talk Uncut.